everyone. I'm Melissa here, and welcome to your Melissa Moment. Hello, everyone. I'm Melissa here. Welcome to your Melissa Moment, and welcome to a never before seen video from 2025. I hope you enjoy. Hello, everyone. I'm Melissa here. Welcome to your Melissa Moment, and welcome to Make It Monday. You guys, I don't even know where to start. Okay. Number one, let's start there. I apologize for the lack of videos. I did do a video explaining why there's been a lack of videos. If you missed that, go back and watch them. But we're here today for Make It Monday. Now, I'm excited for today's video, and I'm also nervous for today's video. Today, we are making wedding bouquets. I'm so excited. I have been waiting to do this. So if you missed why I am making wedding bouquets, first of all, I used to make silk wedding bouquets all the time when I owned my wedding store. And my beautiful niece is getting married this October, and I am so excited for her. And I offered to create her wedding bouquets for her as a gift. So we have been planning this for over a year. Okay, over a year, like almost a year and a half. We've been planning this. And she had told me, in the beginning what her theme was, what her color palette was, the whole thing. Now, here's the thing. Okay, like I said, I have done this before. This is not my first rodeo, okay? I am well aware that with any wedding, with any couple, things change. Well aware of this. So it's a tricky situation because when I found out that, yes, she wanted me to do her wedding flowers, this was last summer, okay? Her wedding is in October. But when it comes to silk flowers, typically they're seasonal, which means the colors change based on the season. If we're looking for fall colors, I pretty much have to purchase them in the fall, right? But I don't want to wait too long because I don't want to be doing them last minute right before her wedding. She also lives she lives a province away. The wedding is 2 provinces away. So it's not like I can just go over to her house and do flowers or show her the flowers or that kind of thing. And I know what you're thinking. Well, you can send pictures, you can do video chat. Yeah, you can. But they just don't. They're not the same as when you see them in person. When you see them on a video or a picture, it's not the same. It's just not. The colors don't look right. It's just not the same. So I wanted to get these done. We're actually headed out there this weekend coming. We're headed out there. And my plan was to have all the flowers done so I could show her, make sure, number one, she likes them. No, scratch that. Make sure she loves them. And if not, I would have time to change them, fix them, whatever needed to be done, okay? So that was kind of always the game plan. So I purchased all the flowers last fall is what I did. Because, like I said, they're seasonal. If I didn't, I wouldn't have the colors that she was looking for. So I purchased everything last fall. But I did not create the bouquets. Now, I am a planner. I don't like putting things off. I like doing them and getting them done immediately. And I wanted to do them so bad. Like the day I bought the flowers last fall, I wanted to do these bouquets and have them done and ready. But I stopped myself because I know things change. I was very correct in not creating the bouquets last fall. I wouldn't say recently, maybe a couple of months ago. I can't remember exactly. my niece lets me know plans have changed. They have changed their color scheme. They've changed they changed the theme, not completely, but they've altered it slightly. So I did have to make some changes. Some of the flowers I had bought no longer worked. So I did have to go out and get different flowers. Now, again, remember what I said, silk flowers are seasonal. So I had a little bit of a challenge in locating what I needed. With the help of my husband and some friends in a different province, I was able to find the flowers I needed and order them from different provinces and have friends pick them up to get the ones I needed, because I could get some here where I live, but they didn't have the right quantity, so I needed to get more. It was a whole thing, but we managed to pull it together. So I had all the flowers. I have way too many flowers, but I would rather have too many than not enough, especially because I will no longer be able to purchase these flowers because they are discontinued, they're gone, they're packed in storage in warehouses somewhere. They are not available. So if I don't have enough of something, I'm going to have to make it work because, sorry, right? So I have all the materials I need. I did do some unboxing. I ordered some things from Temu. That video, I believe, went up recently. So if you missed that, go back and watch. So today, we're doing this. Now, we're going this weekend, you guys, and I haven't started. So I'm a little anxious. I'm a little worried. There's a little added pressure, too, because it's my niece. It's her wedding day. I want everything to be perfect. I want her to love her bouquets, you know. So I have a little extra pressure of, oh, what if she doesn't like it? What if she hates it? I don't want her, because she is the most beautiful human I've ever met. She is so sweet. And I know her that I would be worried if she hated them, she wouldn't say anything because she doesn't want to hurt my feelings. But I want her to tell me if she hates them or if she doesn't like something. I want her to tell me because I want them to be perfect, and I want her to love them and not have to worry about the flowers. So I'm hoping that she will not be worried to tell me her true feelings. I'm also hoping that I know what I'm doing, because even though I've done silk bouquets, so many of them, and I've done so many weddings, it has been a while since I've put a bouquet together. It's been a while, you guys. So I'm hoping I remember how to do it, and I'm hoping these turn out beautiful and the whole thing. I do have a few concerns, which we'll go through kind of as we start putting them together. But I have all my tools. I don't even know what I'm going to need. I did also make a list of all of the flowers. Just want to cover up kind of location and stuff. So like I have a list of all of the flowers I need, color scheme, you know, that kind of thing. And then I have like each bouquet broken down into greenery and flowers for every bouquet, every boutonniere, every corsage, everything. So we've also done a few changes. Like she took out a few things. Originally I was going to do a toss bouquet. She decided they're not doing that. Originally, she was going to get her bouquet done with fresh flowers as well as the groom's boutonniere, and she just wanted me to do bouquets for the other girls and corsages and boutonnieres and stuff. That was the original plan. But again, because this is not my first rodeo, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get enough flowers to make her a wedding bouquet as well, because I was worried about a couple things. Number one, if I didn't make her bouquet and the groom's boutonniere, and she was going to get real flowers, I would be worried that the florist would not be able to match them enough that my niece would be happy. I was also worried that if I showed her the maid of honor and bridesmaid bouquets, that she would fall in love with them and be like, oh my God, they're gorgeous. I should have just got you to do mine. Can you still do it? And then I wouldn't be able to get the same flowers anymore. So thinking ahead, I got enough flowers to create a bride bouquet as well. And my original plan was, I'm just going to do a bride bouquet up, not tell her. And then if one of those two scenarios happens, I'd be like, no problem. I have a bride bouquet. Here it is. It's ready to go. So that was my plan. Talking with her, she had said, you know what? I was thinking about it. I think, can I get you just to make my bouquet as well? That way everything matches and I don't have to worry about it. Absolutely. Girlfriend, I got you. I've already planned it. Not a problem. I am on top of it. So, good to go. Good to go, guys. Can you tell I'm putting this off slightly? I just want to make sure I've told you everything. I think I have. I have my coffee. You can tell I've been drinking it. Now, I had purchased, she told me the bridesmaid bouquet or dresses, where she got them, and the color. I purchased swatches so I could kind of match the flowers. Here's the thing. I originally purchased swatches. These are the wrong ones because I didn't know exactly what color she had chosen for the bridesmaid bouquet, but I kind of knew the idea. So I kind of just went on the website and I'm like, oh, it could be any of those, because she said it was like a dusty rose. So these are the ones I picked, including dusty rose. Turns out it's none of these. So I did go ahead and order more swatches in the actual color. I did receive them. They're in the house somewhere, but I can't find them. I can't find them. But I'm pretty confident the bouquets are going to be beautiful. As far as the colors and flowers go, I'm pretty confident. So we're good to go. Here's some things I have, which we may or may not need. Okay. I have got needle nose pliers. I have got scissors. I have got wire cutters, very important. I have got magnetic. Alexa. Alexa. Why is she not listening to me? Let her just talk. It's fine. I've got magnetic boutonniere and corsage things. So instead of pins, I use magnets. I find them much better. And then you don't put holes in your clothes. They stay on better, more secure. The only thing with magnets, you need to ensure that anyone who will be wearing one does not have a pacemaker, because it can interfere because it's a magnet. So very important. I already checked with her. Everyone's good. Great. I also have a glue gun and glue sticks. I don't think we're going to need it, but we'll see. Florist tape, very important. I also have ribbon. One thing when you're putting a silk bouquet together, if you're doing a real flower bouquet, you can leave the stems exposed. Okay? You can do that. And it looks great. Silk bouquets, I usually wrap all the stems in ribbon. And the reason being is because when you're dealing with silk flowers, there's a wire in the stem. When you cut it, that wire is now exposed on the bottom, which can be sharp and can either catch on clothing or cut people. So I usually like to wrap the stems in the ribbon just to give it that protection that it's not going to snag on clothes, it's not going to cut anyone. That's usually what I like to do. For some reason, I did not, because I usually get a thicker ribbon to do that, and usually either like a satin. For some reason, I cannot find any. I don't think I ordered any. So I have ordered it from Temu. It's not going to come by this weekend, but that's okay, because anytime I do wedding bouquets, I do not want to cover the stems until I've shown the bouquets to the bride for her to be happy with them. Because if I need to make any changes, and I've already wrapped the stems, I have to completely undo all that ribbon, and it's a waste, and it's a pain, and it's time consuming. If I don't have them wrapped, it's not that hard to rip the bouquets apart, fix them, florist tape them back together, and then once she's 100% happy, I can wrap the stems. So I'm not going to wrap the stems. I'm going to take them, make sure she's happy with them, and then because I won't have the ribbon, I'll probably, when I go out for the wedding in October, I will take the ribbon with me. We're going to be there a few days before the actual wedding. That'll give me plenty of time to finish the bouquets by wrapping the stems with ribbon. So there's that. We have a lot of things to make. Let's talk about it. So the theme of the wedding is kind of romantic / moody. And what I mean by that is like a romantic mood. So we're going to have a lot of like eucalyptus leaves and candles and, you know, just kind of romantic, right? It's in October. It's going to be in British Columbia. The colors are like neutral colors. Think like beiges, tans, dusty rose, some olive green, those kind of colors. Flowers that I need to make. I have one bride bouquet, which she would like it to be a cascading bouquet. I've got one maid of honor bouquet and 2 bridesmaid bouquets. Now, typically, I like to make the maid of honor bouquet a little larger than the bridesmaids and possibly a few different flowers than the bridesmaids, kind of more matching the bride as far as flowers go. And this works out perfect because the maid of honor is actually the bride's sister. Now I don't know the other 2 bridesmaids. I assume one of them is another sister. So I have those bouquets to do. I'm not doing a toss bouquet because she decided they didn't want one. Now, I will have lots of flowers left over. And a toss bouquet doesn't necessarily need to be like wrapped with ribbon or anything. It would take 2 seconds for me to grab some of the additional flowers left over, tie them with a ribbon, and she can toss that. So I'm not too worried if she changes her mind on the toss bouquet. Not a problem. I do need to do a boutonniere for the groom, 1 boutonniere for a best man, and then there's 3 groomsmen. I have 2 boutonnieres for the dads, 2 corsages for the moms. And then we have 4 flower girls, which we have, I say we, but I mean the bride. The bride has chosen to do lanterns with a candle inside. So I just need to add some flowers to the outside of the lantern to kind of tie it all together. And obviously the candles inside are not going to be real candles. They're going to be like, you know, the LED type. I already have those as well. We'll get to those later. Because the flower girls, they range in ages from 4 to 11. So obviously a 4-year-old, we don't want to give them real fire. You know what I mean? And it's an outdoor wedding. We don't want to create, like, it's BC. We don't want to create any issues, right? And then, again, she kind of went back and forth on this. She originally, I think I suggested it, flower crowns for the girls. I also, because originally she kind of wanted like a fairy whimsical theme. So I had said, how cute would it be? How cute for the little girls to carry a lantern, have flower crowns and fairy wings. Adorable, right? So she loved that idea, but then they kind of changed the theme away from the kind of whimsical fairy to more of the romantic moody. So I do have the fairy wings, however, because I had already ordered them. So if she changes her mind and wants fairy wings, we have them. If she doesn't, that's fine. But I also got flower crowns, which again, she wasn't sure about, but recently she just said, yeah, I want to do flower crowns. And then she did say, I think she said she bought some gemstones to add to them or something. I'm not sure. So anyway, not a problem. We can do that. We can do it. So those are all the flowers we're making. So it's a lot. Now, I did just order ribbon. Originally, I wanted to get, back before she changed her color scheme and it was more of the fall colors, I had purchased some monarch butterflies in like the burgundy color to add into the bouquets because I thought that was really romantic and beautiful, and I just love butterflies. But then she changed everything, so I'm like, well, the butterflies no longer work. But today when I ordered the ribbon, I kind of did a search for butterflies because I don't know, it's just, I'm like, I want that. So I did find some kind of in like a green, like not a bright green, but like not a forest green either, kind of an in between, like a mossy green, some butterflies. And I know the groom is wearing like olive. So I'm like, you know what? That might be kind of cute. So I did order those as well. Whether I'll actually use them or not, I don't know. Again, like I said, these are going to come after I show the bride the bouquets. So, but it would take, again, 2 seconds to add in some butterflies if she decides she wants butterflies. So those might be added in too. Okay. Now, typically, I don't like to start with the bride bouquet because I find it very time consuming. And I like to get a few bouquets done and off my plate before I jump into the bride bouquet. So usually what I do is I'll start with the maid of honor, then I'll do the bridesmaids, then I'll do the bride. Then I'll usually do corsages, boutonnieres, flower girls, that kind of thing. So we're going to start with the bridesmaid, or sorry, maid of honor. Maid of honor. She wants a round bouquet for the maid of honor. And like I said, I'm going to make it slightly bigger than the bridesmaids. Now, one issue I have when I do bouquets, because it happens every single time, my bouquets always end up being huge because I want to put everything in it. I'm like, ooh, that looks nice. Ooh, that looks... So I put so much in them. Now, I could get away with less. If I was trying to save money, that kind of thing, I would do less. But, like I said, it's for my niece. I want those to be beautiful and perfect. But I do have a habit of adding too much in, and before you know it, the bouquets are huge. Now, I know the bridesmaid, the bride, and one of the... I know a bridesmaid, maid of honor, and the bride. I don't know who the other bridesmaid is. But all the girls are fairly petite. So I don't want a huge bouquet. So I'm going to have to really control myself and make sure it's not getting too big because I just have a habit of making big bouquets. I don't know. I just do. Another thing I've already done off camera is I already kind of went through my list of what goes in each bouquet, and I kind of made piles with the flowers, so I kind of have them all ready to go. So where do we start? Typically, I start with the filler or the greenery of what's going in the bouquet. I'll kind of start there, and then I add the flowers in. So let's just go through. This is the maid of honor. Now I may change things, okay? So like I said, they're doing neutral. So it's a fall wedding. They're doing neutral colors. The bridesmaids and maid of honor are wearing it's called cedar rose, which is similar to a dusty rose color. So it's not exactly this color, you guys, but it's close. And I know colors don't really show on camera well, but it's like this. This is what the maid of honor and bridesmaids are wearing, something similar to this. Okay, and same kind of fabric, I believe, like a chiffon type. And it's October is the wedding, okay? It's an outdoor ceremony. So for greenery, what I have is this. This is a kind of, I know it's hard to tell, but it's like a soft kind of flocked greenery, kind of in closer to like an olive color. I also have this eucalyptus. There's so many different types of eucalyptus, but I wanted to go with something that was kind of flowy, kind of fluffy looking. And this, again, the colors, very fall. You've got different shades of green in there. And there's like little seeds and stuff. So again, I really liked this because I'm like, this looks fairly realistic. Because when you're dealing with silk flowers, there's different types of silk flowers. You have the really cheap silk flowers that look like you got them from the dollar store and they look horrible. And you can get some more higher end flowers that look very realistic. So that's what we're shooting for. Realistic flowers that from a distance or in photos, they look real. Okay. So we have some eucalyptus. We also have, this is aspen leaves. Again, kind of your greens. There's some kind of burgundy on these leaves as well. Very kind of fall looking, very whimsical, very, you know, airy and fluffy. So that's kind of our base of our greens for the bouquet. I also have this stem in beige. Now I'm probably not going to use all of this in this one bouquet. I'll probably cut this down. But again, it just looks like it's kind of flocked. It's just, again, really nice. And then for filler flower, I have wax flower, which is this. Really, really pretty. It adds just in some kind of those like, not quite burgundy, but like your dusty rose light pink. We also have some white or cream sunflowers. Okay, because it's fall time. So we have some of those. We have some wisteria, which is a really nice hanging flower in, again, a cream and kind of beige color. I have got a dusty rose. I have got a cabbage rose in, it's hard to tell, but it's kind of like a light pink cream. And then I have more than one of each. Then to add some pop of color in. Now I know it may look odd right now, but just trust me, once it's all together, it's going to look good. And if it doesn't, we'll take it out. I have got a purple peony. Okay. Now I'm probably going to get rid of this green because this just, it doesn't go with anything. But we've got this purple peony and we have got a hydrangea in burgundy. Okay, so those are like the flowers we're going to be going with. I've already cut the stems because they were on a big, you know, all together like a big bush of flowers. So I've cut the stems. We're just going to remove these off of the peony because I don't like this green. I do not like this green at all. I'm going to make a mess because I'm doing bouquets, and anytime I do bouquets, things get everywhere. It gets messy. So we're just going to remove these because we don't like this shade. It's just not what I'm going for. And I feel like these look really fake. They make it look really fake. And I don't want that. Come on. This isn't going to work. We will cut you off. Okay. So oh, I also have some pampas grass in a beige. Again, not sure because we're looking for kind of, you know, airy and fluffy. So first thing you want to do is remove any stickers, okay, off of your stems. Because we don't want those on there. Another thing is you don't want, the problem is you don't want the base of the bouquet or the handle to be too thick. And these stems are thin, but when you put a ton of them together, they get pretty thick. So we need to be careful that it's not going to be too awkward. You want to be able to hold it without feeling like you're going to drop it or it's hard to grab. So now we may cut these. I'm not sure. We may have to cut these stems, which I think we're going to have to. Now the problem with cutting the stems is then they're a lot shorter and it's harder to wrap it all together where they don't fall apart. If you can keep them more intact and just bend them where you want them to go in the bouquet, it's going to make things easier. But that doesn't always work. So we'll try. So like, see how this is all kind of one thing? Because there's wire in here, you can bend them to go different directions and different ways. So that's kind of what we're going to do. Again, they're going to get big. Now, like I said, we can cut things down if we need to. So you kind of just want to start by putting the bouquet together. Same with these. You just kind of want to layer it in here. And you can cut these down. If they're sticking out too much or they're not going where you want them to, they can be cut down. And they might be. A lot of it is just bending them to put them where you want them to go. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, guys. I'm filming this to show you kind of my process of making a bouquet, but I don't know if I'm going to show you everything because a lot of this is just going to be me literally fiddling with the same flower for who knows how long until I get it to look the way I want it to look. And a lot of the time I just talk to myself about nonsense. Okay, so we're kind of getting a base, right? So we'll see. I also usually have my friends, because when I used to work, I worked with my friend, and it was great because I would ask her opinion. What about this? What do you think about this? How does this look? And she would be great at telling me, oh, maybe you should do this, or oh, I don't like that, or whatever. And now we're not working together, so I can send her pictures, but again, it's just different in pictures. So a lot of this is going to be me wondering if I love it or hate it. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We will see. But we're just kind of adding things in. Now keep in mind, this is the Maid of Honor. So we want it to be bigger than the Bridesmaids, but not like really, like not huge, you know? So I've kind of got this. This looks huge to me. I don't like how tall this is. It's tough to do a round bouquet when she wants it kind of light and airy. She does have things on her Pinterest board, which I've looked at. So I'm also trying to kind of make it look like those. But it's tough to do a round bouquet when you're trying to make it look whimsical. But that's fine. We will figure it out. Now also, a lot of these have like extra leaves. You don't need the extra leaves on a lot of them because they're just going to make it bigger and harder to hold. So we kind of want to avoid that. You know what I mean? So feel free to take those extra leaves off. because you're not even going to really see them or notice them. Now, don't throw the leaves away just yet. Keep everything. All of these, keep them. Don't throw them away. Because when you start making your corsages and boutonnieres, you can use these for greenery. So do not throw anything away at this point. Just keep them nice. And eventually, when you're finished everything, anything you didn't use, then you can get rid of. But you definitely don't want to, get rid of anything. Now you also want to make sure that the heads of the flowers are on the stems proper, otherwise you're going to end up losing heads, which you don't want to do either. You can also add in some glue and re-glue the heads if you're worried about them falling apart. You can do that too. Now this hydrangea is huge, but you can bend, make sure you get rid of all those stickers. You can bend the hydrangea to put the flowers, you know, in different places. So a lot of it is just being patient and finding a way through. And a lot of it is just by feel. So once you get your hydrangea in place, you can kind of like pull the flowers in different directions in between the other flowers, if that makes sense, to get the color to kind of disperse throughout instead of it being in one big grouping. And sometimes you rip the heads off, and that's okay. Don't throw them out, because you can use them later. So we're getting there. I've got 2 peonies. I've got a wisteria left. I've got another sunflower. I've got a rose. These are all the leaves. I'm going to try to keep, sometimes you need 2 hands. Don't do what I do, guys. Do what I say. A lot of it is trying to do with one hand, because you can't, once you've started your bouquet, you can't put it down until you've secured it. So that's always fun. So you got to be creative sometimes with how you're going to, you know, make things work. But yeah. And sometimes you just have to cut the leaves off. But be careful you don't cut the stem where you don't want it to be cut, because then you're going to have a problem. Okay, so we're going to put another white one in there. See how it's kind of coming together? And now we've got this rose, which we're going to stick on this side because we have one on the other side already. Do not let go of that bouquet, friends. And then you can kind of pull the flowers out if you need to. If they're getting too squished, you can pull them out. Now, we may or may not use all these flowers too. This is just kind of what I had set aside, but we might decide, no, that's too much. We don't need them all. And that happens, and you don't need them all. Because until you start putting it together, you're not going to know. There goes the head. You're not going to know what it looks like. So you may not need them all. I was so nervous about putting these together, but now that I've started, I think my nerves are kind of like, okay, I got this. You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, I remember. I used to do this. Like, we're okay. We're okay, guys. Yeah, and then you just, a lot of it is just playing with it to see where you want things to go or how things are going to hang, you know, like, it's absolutely fine. I don't know if I want to put these peonies in. I think that's too much. I might put this one in over here just to add in a little purple on this side. But again, I don't think I need that one. And another thing you can do is feel free to like start taping it with your florist tape, because that's going to just hold it together for you. And then you can always make adjustments or cut flowers down or try to like move them over. Like you can do that, you know, once you kind of have it in place. Like, I'm liking how this is looking. I really am liking how this is looking. I feel like some of these are too long, which we can cut down. So I'm not too worried about that. And I don't know if I want that one there or if I want that one. Let's just see if we can take that out for now. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. I think I want to bend these down a little so they're not sticking straight up. I kind of want them bent down. So again, most of these have wire in them. So it's just kind of about bending them, playing with it. You know, you can kind of decide where the bottom is and where the top is, and then you can kind of decide like, oh yeah, that's sticking out too much, or I want that bent down a little more. Like this one here, I might cut this one off altogether because I don't know if I necessarily need that one. Where it is, I haven't decided. I'm going to pull this out for a minute, so I don't like that in there right now. I do like it, I just don't like how this is working. Like I feel like I want to take this out. So I'm going to cut this one out completely. Watch it go. Hang on. There it goes. I don't like that right now. I just want to get this up there. Okay. And I don't think I like this one here, so I'm going to cut that out as well. Here. So I know she wanted round bouquets for the maid of honor and the bridesmaids. I think because the bride's doing full cascade, bridesmaids are round, I'm going to do the maid of honor slightly bigger than the bridesmaids and also slightly cascading, just slightly. Just so it kind of looks really nice when it's all together. You know what I mean? So we're getting there. I'm liking how this is looking so far, right? We're getting there. We're still moving things around. We're still kind of getting the greenery where we want it to be. We're making sure there's enough room between these flowers. So number one, you can see them all, and they're all getting kind of their you know, bit of a spotlight here to be like, oh, I'm not hiding. They're all nice and visible. You want them to be, you know, all of that. Which I think we're getting there. I really think we're getting there. I'm liking how that looks there. This one, I'm just going to bend this down a little more. Like that. I'm liking that. I'm liking that. I like that there. I feel like that might be too much. Let's bend this aspen down a little. Okay. Get that in there a little bit. I like that. This, I think, I'm not sure how I feel about you. Maybe if I move you back to there. Okay, and then I think, how do we feel so far? I'm thinking it looks nice. I do want to, I want to put more of this in. I'm going to cut this though, right here. I want to just put a little bit in. See how this one's kind of, you probably can't tell, sticking out here. I want to put a little bit in here. Now again, we want to make sure. We're going to florist tape this here in a second because I'm terrified that I'm going to lose this. And then it's just, I'm going to lose my progress because I like where we're at with this. I think we've got a good starting point here. Yeah. I like where we're at. There. That looks nice. I don't know if I like these sticking out. Stick you in there a little. Stick you in there a little, just so you're in there. And this one, another thing is, you see how this stem, like I cut it off. So there's this little piece down here. Cut that off. You don't need to keep it on there. Do not throw it out though, because this is going to be perfect for a corsage or a boutonniere. But you don't need, like, feel free to cut these when they're down on the stem like that, because you're not going to see them anyway. Right? I would even cut this one actually. You're not going to see it. It's going to be hidden. So don't feel like you can't cut things off the stem. Like, look now, I've got this long stem. That's what I want. I don't want greenery down there. And it's okay. It's okay to cut that down. And then I'm going to bend this. See, I'm just going to bend it. See how it keeps that bend? And we're just going to add it in. Like, look, okay. So now we're just going to add it in down here. Okay. So we've got that bend in there. So now we've got that greenery there. It's just going to hold it all together. I think that's really good. I like it. I'm worried this eucalyptus over here is too much. So I might change some of that. We'll see. I also am not 100% sure about these, if I want to add these back in. I don't think I'm going to put this peony in. I think it's extra. Don't forget we have the wax flowers still we haven't put in, and we also have these we haven't put in. Now, we don't necessarily need to put them in, okay? I do just kind of want to see, like, Do I want to put more of this in? And I apologize, guys, because I'm trying to do this at home and I don't have a lot of room. So I know you might not be able to necessarily see everything I'm doing, but I'm trying. So again, we can cut these down off the stem if I want to put some of these in there. And I think I like these. I already have one of these pampas grass. I don't know if I'm going to put another one in because I kind of like the looks of these. And I also have this, which I don't know. Do I want this in here or not? I don't know if I need it. I don't think I do. How do I feel about this over here? I like that. I like that. I'm worried this eucalyptus might be too much. I think, do I cut that down or do I want that? I'm just trying to decide. I think I'm going to cut that away. And you can, another thing you can do, my hand is cramping, is you can like bend things away. Like, see how that's looking? I'm like, I don't know if I like that. Just kind of bend it back. And you can see what it kind of looks like without it. And you can be like, yeah, that looks better. Okay, we're going to cut some of that out, right? Like here, I can just pull that off. You're like, yeah, I like that better. So these, I'm going to get rid of some of these. So this one I can pull off. And the nice thing about doing that is you can always put it back on. This one we're going to cut. Try to cut it low as you can. Okay, before I lose this, I'm going to florist tape it. Now, another thing I like to do is you use wax twine. Here's the problem. I don't have any. I don't have any wax twine. Usually I do, but I don't. So maybe what I'll do, give me a second. I'm going to see if I, hang on. I used to have wax twine when I had my wedding store, but when I sold it, I sold that as well. Now, obviously these stems are too long. We can cut them. We don't want to cut them too short though. So I kind of like to find where most of them stop, which is here, and I'll try to cut the rest to kind of go in line with that. Now we can always cut it more later. Oh, some of these stems. So don't feel like you have to cut it exactly where it's going right now. You don't. But just by cutting it down a little bit, it's going to make it a little easier to control. Now, some of these are thick, so bear with me while I use my muscles. Ugh. Sometimes it takes more than one attempt because, oh my gosh, they're difficult. Some of them are wrapped. Some of them have numerous stems inside, which makes it even harder. Like this one, that's wrapped. So sometimes what I have to do is actually remove the wrap so I can cut them individually on the inside. We're gonna try not to do that this time though, but we might have to. Let's see. Oh, I might have to, guys. Oh my gosh. Some are just difficult. Okay, well, we're gonna leave that for now. Florist tape. If you don't know how it works, when you wrap it on itself, the heat from your hands, because it's kind of got a waxy finish, the heat from your hands is actually going to kind of make it stick to itself. That's kind of how it works. Now, because I don't have wax twine, and the reason you want it waxed is it helps to hold it together. Usually I tie that around it because you can't just rely on florist tape. I've got an elastic band here, not my first choice, but we are going to try to put an elastic band around here to hold this together before we wrap it with florist tape. Now, like I said, not my first choice, but you work with what you have. So we're just going to kind of put a loop around there. You want to kind of get it up as high on these stems as possible to keep them together. I may have to go and try to find a place to buy waxed thread because I completely forgot. I use that usually, and I don't have any. So it's okay. It's gonna work out. But just by having this elastic on here, it's going to help keep things where I have them and make it a little easier and not so hard on my fingers. But I think, and then you kind of want to just give it a shake because anything that's loose is going to fall and then you have a chance to fix it. But I think that's really pretty for a maid of honor. Now that... It looks really big. It looks really big. I'll be back. Here's what I'm thinking. When you're making bouquets, you have to be adaptable because sometimes the plan that you try to do turns out to be a different plan. This was supposed to be the maid of honor bouquet. But the more I'm looking at it, I'm thinking this is the bride bouquet. And the reason I say that, number one, it's big. Number two, I really like how it's looking. And number three, I've already started to make it into a cascade. So it's not going to be hard to continue a cascade. Because if I stand up, this is definitely a bride bouquet, you guys. The size of this is a bride bouquet. And I said in the beginning of this video, I have a habit of making bouquets way too big. I knew that. I said it before I started. So the maid of honor bouquet, it's too big. So who has the largest bouquet? The bride, always. So I think this is going to be the bride bouquet. Which is great because we can just keep going with it. Now, obviously, I had different flowers in mind for the bride bouquet. I had different flowers in mind. So I'm going to go and grab, because I have them in piles in my living room, of flowers for different bouquets. And I'm going to grab what was supposed to go in the bride bouquet and see what we're missing so far. Now, I still have this to put in, and I still have the wax flower. Now, this is going to be a filler, so this can go in at the end. So I'm going to put up here the things we still have for this bouquet. The rest, we're going to try to kind of organize. We've got some flower heads down here. We've got stems. So I also don't have these in it, which I took out. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm putting stuff everywhere. So these are all extra leaves and things. This is garbage. Another thing I like to do is periodically just stop and tidy things up a little. Anything that's 100% garbage, like wrappers, stems, stickers, we're going to get rid of. Okay? We're going to get rid of. And then let me go grab what I had for the bride bouquet and see where we're at. This was going to be the bride bouquet, guys. You see what I mean by way too much? Not a problem. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go through here and take out everything I currently have in this bouquet and see what's left over. Okay? So let's start with the greenery. Wax flower we have. So I'm just going to put that aside. I have got one of those, but I had a second one. So I'm going to put that in a separate pile. I had one of the dark green stems, but I have 3 more. So we're going to put those over here. I had one of these, which I still have some. So I'm going to set that over there. I had one aspen. I have 2 eucalyptus. So one goes that I used and one goes over here. I actually had 2 aspen, so that goes there. I have one burgundy hydrangea, which I used. I had a whole thing of wisteria. I only used 2, so I'll put this in the possible use. I have 3 peonies. I used 2. So I have an extra peony. I had 3 of these roses. I only used 1, so I will put that in there as well. I have 3 of these Dusty Rose roses, and I used 2, so I have 1 more. I had a Dusty Rose hydrangea, which I didn't use. I had a bunch of these small beige and cream roses. I didn't use any. And then I had 3 white sunflowers, and I've used 2. So I'm liking how it's looking. Obviously, this is not a cascade right now. This is what I would call a round or a partial cascade. So a cascade, we're gonna, if you can kind of see, we have the greenery and then the flowers here, and then we have the cascade starting here. We want to bring this down more. So we need to incorporate the flowers we have up here kind of down. Now, we do have a lot of darkness up here with the burgundy. We do have another burgundy over there. I'm going to bring that in because we're going to need to continue the burgundy on the lower part as well, just so it looks kind of matchy. And I'm probably actually going to start by putting it kind of in here to continue that darkness, but we'll see. So first thing, we're going to go and remove the stickers and the extra leaves. Okay. These guys, we may not use them. They're kind of little. And I kind of like having bigger flowers. But again, we'll see. We do have a Dusty Rose hydrangea. And we have a lot more wisteria. We are going to probably use more of the wisteria because I like that it's a hanging flower. Typically, I like using hanging flowers in cascading bouquets, because not only does it give you that length, it gives you movement, which is nice. I don't like bouquets that are just very stiff looking. I feel like that also makes them look more fake. You want to have movement with your flowers. You also don't want a super stiff bouquet, whether it's real or fake, because if you end up bumping it, especially real, your stems will break. Not so much with the silk bouquets, because they have usually wire in the stems, but real bouquets, depending on your florist. When I was a florist doing real wedding bouquets, I had to individually wire every single stem, especially roses. And that is very time consuming. I don't think people realize that that's what florists do. But yeah, it's very time consuming, but it's definitely needs to be done, because if you knock that bouquet into anything, those flowers are breaking and falling off. And with real bouquets, it's very easy to see when you're missing flowers on there. Like, super easy to see. Okay, I'm gonna cut these. Where's my wire cutters? We're just gonna cut these off. I may not use all of these in this bouquet, but I just want them cut to make it easier. I forgot how much I actually really like doing this. Like, I'm a crafter to begin with. I love crafting. It's just something that I kind of always enjoyed. Okay, we're gonna go, you see this little nub here? That's where the leaves were. We're just gonna go in and cut that off. We're gonna cut that off because we don't want that there. It's gonna get in the way when we try to do our floral wrap. And we just don't want it there. But yeah, I love crafting. I love making things. I always have. And I like to say I don't have the time, but I think it's more of I don't take the time. You know what I mean? Number one, any kind of crafting can be expensive, right? Whether you like to knit or crochet or scrapbook, all of the things you need to do those hobbies are expensive. And it takes a lot of time. Okay, so we have those. Oh, here's another one. Okay, that one's good. Yeah, again, these I'm going to leave on here, but I am going to remove the extra leaves, I think. But sometimes you don't have to cut them. I might. We'll see. I haven't decided, you guys. I haven't decided what I'm doing with this. The reason that I say you might not have to cut them is because these already kind of look cascading. But, hang on, let me get this guy. This is also very thick. And I'm trying to avoid that for when it comes to wrapping them so the stem isn't huge. Which, when you do a cascading bouquet, sometimes it turns out to be huge. But you see how kind of let me just bend them here for you to see what I mean. They kind of go where you want them to. Like, I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. We'll probably take them off here. I haven't decided. Those, we will see. And then we have these guys. So what kind of hobbies do you guys do? Are you crafters? Knitters? Painters? What do you like doing? Have you ever done wedding bouquets? Silk or real? Let me know. Okay, so we have this. And I'm liking how this is looking. I do like how this looks. I'm going to push you in a little more there. And I want you to come out a little more here. Nope. That's not what I wanted. Sometimes things just don't work out the way you want them to. Sometimes they do. Okay. So yeah, we want to continue with this cascading look. I like how it's looking. I do want to put in some, I don't want that one. I think I want the burgundy, but the problem is this is where it gets tricky. The cascade. Usually what I used to do is actually do the bouquet and the cascade separate and then connect them. I might end up doing that as well. Let's put that down. I might. Now we want to bend this because we want the flowers forward facing, if that makes any sense. And then we're going to kind of want to bend these. Now these don't necessarily have wire in them individually, so they're going to want to just go back together. But I feel like I want to cut these off. I didn't have any intention of doing the bride bouquet first, but sometimes things just happen. And you're like, oh, that's actually a bride bouquet, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, sometimes you just need to work with it. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's what you need to do. This is where the cascading part gets tricky. Because it doesn't always work the way you want it to. The nice thing is by getting the bride bouquet done first, that's going to be the most time consuming. So the other ones should be fairly easy. Now this one takes a lot of hand strength to get these flowers to go where you want them to, because when you're working with a cascade, you kind of want to, yeah, it's tricky because they're going to want to go in different directions. You're trying to bend them a certain way so that it looks the way you're envisioning, and they're not going to want to stay that way. So it takes quite a bit of hand strength to get it to look the way you want it to. And sometimes it's frustrating because the flowers are going to want to turn. God knows they're going to want to turn. We are going to cut these. I don't want them on here. So the cascading part is definitely probably the most frustrating because you have an idea in your head of how you want it to look and they just don't cooperate. And there's times where when things just aren't going the way you want, put it down. Take a break. Have a snack. Get a drink. Come back to it later. Sometimes you just need to do that for it to work the way you want it to. Sometimes it just has to be that way. But getting the colors to go where you want, getting the flowers to go where you want, like constantly trying to see, like I'm thinking these wisteria, they're not really working the way I want them to anymore because we gotta go more. Unless I go like that. So you see how we're kind of moving it down? Okay, so we have a wisteria there. We want a wisteria. It's okay. I think I might actually take some of these out. So we don't actually need them all in there. Because we just want a little bit of them in there for now. Just to kind of keep bringing that color in. Okay. I don't want that there though. Okay. I'm going to take that out for a minute. I want... Bend the way I want you to bend, please. Okay. I just don't know. I think I want more of the roses. I mean, we could put wisteria there. Oh, I forgot we have this hydrangea. Yeah. Right. Let me put you in here. Just getting rid of all these, right? I need more greenery. at this point. So let's pop back in to get these greenery pieces that we took out. We can add those back in. I'm gonna get, I don't know if I'm liking it anymore. Now it's starting to lose its appeal. I really like the way it looked before. Okay, not a problem. We'll figure it out. I just don't know if I'm liking where it's going with this. I think I just need it not to be so wide. You know what we need? We need a purple peony is what we need. Yeah, but I don't want you there. I think I want you to go here. I want the purple peony to go here. A lot of it is just playing with the colors to get them to go kind of where you want them to go. You know? We're getting there. We're definitely getting there, guys. I think I want more of the roses, though. Give me a second to get more roses. Good thing we have more. Now I do also have a ton of the hydrangeas in that dusty rose color. I have a ton of those too. So the problem with the hydrangeas is they're so large. These girls are tiny. I just don't know how I feel about this stuff. The problem is, I also am very indecisive about things. So I'm kind of looking at it like, I'm not sure how I feel about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I also need more rubber bands because I have no thread. And I don't know how I'm going to get this to hold. Because I don't want it to fall apart. The nice thing is it literally only has to last the ceremony. And if it falls apart, it falls apart. So you want to add in the greenery because you want the greenery to start coming down. Don't forget to bend it how you want it to go. I just wish it would stay in place the way I want it to, because it just doesn't. Having a good solid foundation of greenery is really important for wedding bouquets. Like really important. If you don't have a good greenery foundation, it's not going to look right. Okay. At this point, I'm going to take this out. At this point, I'm going to wrap it with, this is where we're at. I'm going to wrap it with floral tape right now because my hand is getting tired of holding it. And this will give it a bit of strength. I'd rather go over it with floral tape a few times. I should have wrapped it with floral tape before I started putting things on here, but that's okay. It always takes a little bit to get that first bit of floral tape going because you want to gently pull, but not too much. And you want to use the heat of your hand so that it like sticks to itself. So it takes a bit to get it to start holding. Now this floral tape also came from Temu. It looks like floral tape, but I'm wondering how it's going to hold up. So we'll have to see. Now as you're wrapping it with floral tape, things are going to move. Things are going to change position. Don't worry about it. We can move things back. We just want to kind of start wrapping this. So we have a bit of stability. This will also help it so the stems don't move on us. It ripped. Don't get frustrated. Just put it back on. It sticks to itself. Go over it a couple times and keep going. You also don't have to wrap it the entire way on the stems. This is just going to help give you a little stability, okay? Your fingers are going to feel sticky. If you have an issue with textures and things, that might bother you. This also helps to camouflage the stems. I am going to go fairly far down here. I don't want to go all the way though because I'm definitely going to need to cut these stems again. But we want to make sure that we go enough. When you're done, you just kind of rip it and make sure you really put heat on there with your hands to help it, okay? So this is where we're at right now. Here's our floral tape stem. You can see I've got issues here. I'm gonna have to floral tape that as well, I think. Maybe I can cut that out. Let's see. Okay, so like I said, flowers are gonna kind of shift and move. You just kind of got to go back and move them around again until you kind of have them where you want them. Don't worry about little gaps like here, because we still have wax flower we're gonna put in as filler. So little gaps, don't worry about so much. It's more of the bigger ones that we have to worry about. I'm gonna try to take you out. I don't like how you're sitting. Oh, come on. No, you're not gonna work with me. I don't like how this sunflower is fitting in here. Now I gotta try to take it out. Okay, just the head came off. It's fine. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just cut that stem. Okay, it's fine. It's good for now. I just don't like how it's sitting in there, so we're just gonna change it, okay? It'll be fine. We have another one right here. So yeah, I just didn't like how it was sitting. I want you to come out a little. Okay. Cascade. I mentioned the trouble with the cascades. I mean, it's not really trouble. It's just getting it to look and do what you want it to. Can be challenging. But if I'm being honest, cascade is my favorite type of bouquet. I had a cascading bouquet when I got married for the first time. I think they're beautiful. They're just time consuming. But that is my favorite type. We want to get our greenery here together. Kind of bend it, put it where you want. You can always cut things away if it's too long, too big, too much. Don't worry about that right now. We've got some aspen leaves too. Now this one, the aspen leaves, I'm probably going to see how they're together in here. I'm probably going to open that up, if it'll let me. Because I kind of want to separate them, if I can. We'll see. I'm not sure how they're put together. If they're all separate, yeah, they are. Okay, if they're separate in here, which they are. Perfect, that's exactly what I wanted. Now we have separate aspen leaves, great. And we made a mess, but that's okay. That's what tidying up later's for. Not a problem. So now we can add our aspen leaves in. And we don't need to go crazy with the aspen leaves. I just kind of want a little bit in there to tie the whole bouquet together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to florist tape just this greenery together. It's okay to florist tape pieces and then later attach all those pieces. I actually kind of recommend it because if something is to happen to the bouquet where it does end up falling apart, if you have components florist taped together, then probably your whole bouquet is not going to fall apart. It'll be a component. And that's a lot easier to fix than if you have it all florist taped in just one go. That's another reason I like to wrap the stem with ribbon after you've florist taped it, because again, that's just going to give it another layer of security so it's not falling apart. And I know I'm talking a lot about bouquets falling apart. To my knowledge, I have never had a bouquet fall apart. Okay? I've never had anyone come back and complain. But I like to think about all possibilities of what could happen and try to prevent them. So don't get scared. I'm not expecting this bouquet to fall apart. It's never happened to me that I'm aware of, but I like to be prepared. Because things happen. You never know. Maybe it's going to be windy. Maybe it's going to be rainy. I don't know. But let's plan for it. You know what I mean? Let's just plan for it. So how many of you think I'm going to get all these done before I leave? Because I'm not confident. I'm not confident at all. I was talking with my sugaring girl, and I was explaining that, oh my God, I have so much work to do on these bouquets before I leave on Saturday. And she goes, well, you know, I don't know how, like, your system of how you do things. But what if you just did like one of each to show her? And I'm like, that's a great idea. And that would work. The problem is, I like to have all the bouquets. So as I'm creating them, I can make sure they're the same, like the bridesmaids are the same size, and I'm using the same flowers, and you know, the whole thing. So that doesn't really work. For me, it's kind of one of those, you do it all or you just don't. And again, the wedding's not till October. Worst case scenario, I don't get them done and I just have to take them in October. The only reason was I wanted her to see them to make sure she was happy with them. That way I have adequate time to adjust or change things. But if I don't get them done, I don't get them done. You know what I mean? It's not the end of the world. I'm not going to stress about it. We're just going to do what we can do. And that's it. Now the other question is, how long do you make a cascading bouquet? Good question. Everyone has a different preference on the length. I kind of like to look at the bride's height and that kind of thing, what kind of dress they're wearing. I like to hold it in front of a mirror and kind of look at me and see what I think. But honestly, it's all really personal preference. So we're getting there. I do think that that's too much. Looking at this, like I think I can get rid of some of these. Like that. So we're going to cut some of these out. I'm not sure where yet, but we are going to cut some of these out. I think. I'm going to cut you off. So tricky. Because I want it to be... it's too much. Maybe it's not. Is that too much? No, I think that's actually a pretty good length, just like that. I think that's actually pretty good. Okay, I think that's good. I think I like that. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there, folks. I love and hate doing wedding bouquets. I enjoy the process, but it can be frustrating. I also get nervous before I show my clients the finished products because I'm worried they're going to hate it. I've only ever had one client not like her wedding bouquet. I shouldn't say that. I've had a few that ask like, oh, can you add some more crystals or some more roses or something like that, which not a problem. I've had one client that was not happy with it at all. And the funny thing, ironically, is this client had given me a photo and said, this is the exact bouquet I want. And I created it exactly like the photo. 100%. Like you could not tell it wasn't the same bouquet. It was spot on. And she didn't think it looked anything like the photo. And I'm looking at my friend who works with me and I'm like, it looks exactly like the photo. And she's like, yeah, it's exactly like the photo. So she obviously just didn't know what she wanted because I gave her exactly what she asked for. But that is the only time, how are we feeling about this? That I had someone unhappy. Is this too much? Should I take one of these away? Is that better? I think that's better. I think that's better. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, and then I can kind of split this a little. Yeah, I like that better. So that's the only time. And I'm kind of like I wanted to add these in, but now I'm thinking I don't. Maybe later. I think we need to continue on with the flowers at this point. Come on, bend the way I want you to. Bend. So anyway, that's the only time I've ever had someone unhappy. And I mean, honestly, I feel like she may have just been saying that because she didn't want to pay the full price for it. Like, I think she actually did really like it because It looked exactly like the photo she gave me. How could you not, right? Like, that's what you asked for. That's what I gave you. Not really sure why you're unhappy. But yeah, it was one of those things. Okay, so I'm liking the way this is looking. I feel like, again, I want to take a moment and florist tape this together, because if I don't, I feel like it's going to move on me again. So a lot of this is just florist tape, florist tape, florist tape. Doing it over and over and over. That's what a lot of this is. And it always takes some minutes to get it to start. Once you start wrapping it, it's fine, but it's just getting that initial tape. You're moving on me. I don't want you to move. Hence the florist tape. Ah, it's still moving on me. It's fine. We'll get there. The nice thing is you can't really wreck anything. You know what I mean? Like, you might have to redo something, but you can't really destroy anything with this. I'm actually kind of glad I'm working on the bride bouquet, because this is the most anxiety-provoking one, just because it's big, it's a cascade, it's also my niece's. So it's one of those things where it's like, it better look darn good. So getting it out of the way first is probably a pretty good thing to do. So yeah. Okay. I feel like that's pretty good there. Now we have to adjust it because of course it moved. Let's make sure this sticks to itself on the bottom so it doesn't all unravel on us. Not a problem. Not a problem. We got this. Not a problem. We got this. Okay. A lot of bending. A lot of wire. My arm's getting tired. But we're getting there. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. I'm feeling pretty good about it. Florist tape is unraveling. Not a problem. Like I said, that's also why I wrap it with ribbon, because it gives it that added layer, that added protection. I really want her to like this, and I think she will. I think once we get it done, I think she will love it. I'm just worried it's getting too dark. Like, I know I have burgundy and purple in here, which is not any of the colors she chose, but you need to have some kind of contrasting color. Otherwise, it's going to look just muted. So that's why I went with those, because they're still kind of in the family of like the dusty rose, you know, that she's got going for her here. Oh, come on. So that's why I kind of went with that. We're getting there. I don't like these sticking out. I don't like these sticking out, so I'm going to cut these. We're doing pretty good, except this florist tape is not holding. I don't know why. It's supposed to be. Come on. Hold for me. Okay. I do like how it's looking. My biggest fear is she's going to hate it, you guys. That's my biggest fear. Like, what if she hates it? Then what? Like, I don't want to have to redo it again. You know what I mean? I don't want her to hate it. I mean, if she hates it, she hates it. I'd rather have her be honest with me so I can try to fix it. But if she hates it, I don't really know. Okay. How are we liking it so far? I think I'm liking it. We have enough greenery in here. Maybe too much. But I think it's good. We need to add in some more flowers just to continue. And I think we're gonna pop in with the wisteria. Because that's gonna give us the cascading kind of look that we want. Bending and moving. A lot of bending and moving. Making things look the way you want them to look. That's the other nice thing about silk bouquets is you can bend them and kind of position them where you want. Real bouquets, you don't always get that luxury. You know what I mean? So. Sometimes with cascading bouquets, you also need to put flowers in upside down so that they hang, you know, kind of where you want them to. Like that. And then you can kind of position them, you know, in amongst the greenery. So you kind of have that kind of thing happening. Like that, which I think is what I want. So you've got your wisteria in there. And then we're gonna want more of these roses. Don't use your teeth like me. One-handed, guys. You got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? Got to do what you got to do. I think I want to put you in here. That. Okay, and then what I need is white. So we're gonna pop it in with, I think, a sunflower. And now, this is where the tricky part comes in, because we need to florist tape it again. But now we have flowers in all different directions and stems in all different directions. But you kind of just have to, my hand is also cramping horribly. Now, the problem is I'm going to let go. Like, for example, this one doesn't want to. We're going to take you out for now. I'm going to let go, and then the flower stems are going to go everywhere. That's the problem. So we really have to be mindful of where we're letting go, because we don't want these to really move a whole lot, even though they're going to. See, I've lost everything. Okay. This is where that wax thread would come in handy. But, alas, I don't have any. Not a problem. This is where you got to be careful, because your handle is going to become very large very quickly. And you do not want it to be uncomfortable. So, not a problem. I really hope she likes these. I don't know why I have doubts, but I do. I guess it's like the one person of all the wedding flowers I've done, the one person that I don't want to disappoint. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I didn't want to disappoint any of my other brides either. But this bride is extra special. So, it's got to be perfect. I also am honored that I can do this for her. Like, truly honored. I'm gonna have to get a big box to put these in. Just thinking that. Normally, again, when I had my wedding store, I had big flower boxes that I used to use. But I don't have big flower boxes anymore. So I'm gonna have to figure it out, I guess. we're getting there. What time is it? How close are we to being done? I do also need to pick up my daughter from school today. So I need to kind of keep an eye on the time. My husband is out of town today, otherwise he would have done that. But not a problem. Not a problem at all. I feel like we're getting there. I feel like we're getting there. We lost a couple wisteria, which is fine. We can put those in. We lost a couple. Not a problem. Where did we have those? Kind of in like that. I want you to kind of pop right there. Okay. Okay, I feel like we're getting there. Sorry guys, a lot of this is boring. We've already been on here for 2 hours. What time is it? I hate my watch. What time is it? Oh, it's almost 1 o'clock already. Wow. It's a lot. Not a problem. Not a problem. I can see me staying up late to get this done. Not a problem. We can do that. If we gotta stay up late, we can. Right? Now, do I want to put one? I think I want to put one like right there. Which I can totally do. Right there. And then I'm going to put you right up here. On this side. Because we want it to look like that. Perfect. So now we just got to figure out how we're going to attach you. Now I'm also debating on using hot glue for some of this. Typically I don't use hot glue to glue flowers in place. I usually just use wax, thread, florist tape, and then the ribbon that I hot glue on. But this florist tape is not necessarily working to my advantage. Now I estimated to put all these bouquets together, I estimated 14 hours. Obviously, this video is not going to be 14 hours long. So this is where we're at. I'm liking it. We're not done yet. But I think I'm going to stop recording for now. You guys have seen enough of the bride bouquet. We're getting there. We still have a long way to go, but we're getting there. Of course, I will come back and kind of show you the final product. But for now, I think I'm going to stop recording. I got to go have a snack. and I need a bit of a break because it's a lot. So I will be back to show you the final product on the bride bouquet, and then we'll probably jump right into maid of honor and bridesmaids. Those are the big ones. Once those are done, it won't take me long to do the flower girls and the corsages and boutonnieres. So let's get these bouquets done so the hard part will be over. Okay, we'll see you guys when the bride bouquet is done or nearly done. See you then.